Action.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night from wherever you are, Prof. We have chosen the topic of Green Wheels Strategic Diplomacy for Electric Vehicle Integration for our final exam. Me, myself, I will be portraying the role of expert.
Me, Tiara Yuwardani, as NGO representative.
Me,
Me,
Dimas.
Jovan, as res- corporate representative.
Me, Dimas Alianza as a government official.
Okay. Welcome to Diplomatic Business Negotiation Simulation hosted by Greenpeace. I, Tiara Ayu, as representative of Greenpeace Indonesia, will guide a virtual discussion on very interesting and important topic regarding optimizing electric vehicle in Indonesia as a part of fighting climate change. Thank you, Mr. Dimas, as Minister of Coordination of Economic Affairs, Mr. Jovan, as willing Indonesia representative, and Professor Reza from the University of Indonesia for being here. As Greenpeace Indonesia representative, allow me to start talking about the environmental impact on carbon emission. Carbon emission, especially from carbon dioxide, have very significant impact. They trap in the atmosphere causes global warming and changes in extreme weather patterns and rising sea levels, which threaten natural habits and biodiversity. Air pollution, such as nitrogen oxide and fine particles caused by motor vehicle emission, contribute to health problems. Moreover, climate change is disrupting cropping patterns and agricultural productivity, increasing the food insecurity, and causing forced migration and social conflict. Emissions as also cause acid rain, which damage the forest, lakes, and agricultural land. Therefore, reducing carbon emission through adopting new renewable energy efficiency, and clean technology such as electric vehicle is critical to creating more sustainable future. Okay. The next is Greenpeace Advocacy and Initiative. We continue to encourage the Indonesian government to strengthen vehicle emission regulation and provide initiative for EV. We advocate to eliminating fossil fuel subsidies and encouraging the investment in EV charging infrastructure. Public education campaign regarding the benefits of electric vehicle are also very important. We work with social media, schools, and communities to spread information. In addition, we are collaborating with vehicle manufacturer to increase EV production and adoption in Indonesia, including developing more efficient and environmentally friendly battery technology. About the actual initiative in society, what has been done in the local level. At the local level, we create the communities of EV users and advocates to share information and experience to encourage wider use to use EV. We are also running pilot program in several major cities to demonstrate the direct benefit of using EV. Additionally, we partner with local organizations to develop renewable energy projects that support EV charging infrastructure, such as installing solar panels at charging station. So the importance the importance of sustainable practice. Optimizing electric vehicles is a very important part of energy conservation efforts and reducing the dependence us on fossil fuels. Electric cars not only reduce the carbon emission but also help create a healthier environmental by reducing air pollution. The development of EV technology drive innovation into the renewable energy sector and other clean technology, contributing to the sustainable economic growth. So let's next hear the perspective of automotive company executive regarding the development of EV, especially Wuling in Indonesia. Please, Mr. Jovan.
Yeah, so hello, my name is Jovan and I am the corporate executive representative of Wuling Motors, and let me introduce and explain to you our company's sustainability practices, carbon minimization targets, and successful carbon reduction and renewable energy investments. Wuling has made its name in Indonesia's automotive industry while giving full-on attention on the global climate agenda by reducing carbon emissions and investing in renewable energy. As an example, Wuling Air EV and Bingo EV became one of the best-selling EVs in Indonesia, with Wuling becoming the second best-selling. Well, knowing how complicated it is to prosper in the automotive industry, was again focusing on the climate agenda. And so let's begin to dissect the three discussions I mentioned before, starting with corporate sustainability practices. In Indonesia, our aspiration for sustainability exceeds automotive production. We are collaborating with state-owned enterprises like Bell and Icon Plus, Bank Mandiri, and Telkomsel to enhance EV infrastructure, EV ecosystem connection, and financial support by developing fast charging facilities and home charging solutions, making EV ownership much more convenient and sustainable. And not only individual ownership sustainability, Wuling has also launched electric buses, logistic vehicles, and 5G intelligent driving sightseeing cars that also focuses on a wider public inclusion. But such expansion in Indonesia is still minimal, where we are planning to enhance more and widen more. And Wuling has also adopted the ISO 14001-2015 environmental management system that sets the criteria for an effective environmental management system that ensures Wuling's greener environmental impact through systematic control and continuous improvement. Also, Wuling has invested in energy saving and emission reduction technologies and established green supply chain practices to ensure sustainable practices from raw material acquisition to production and recycling. And in resource management and uh, inside our companies, Wuling has implemented energy management systems to optimize energy use and reduce waste, transitioning to LED lights in their offices and manufacturing facilities, and as well promoting water conservation efforts as well. And for the next is carbon reduction targets. In Indonesia, Wuling have invested in creating a local production facility in Cikarang, West Java, where the facility aims to produce 10,000 units annually. And this will effectively reduce their carbon footprint associated with transportation and logistics. Well, if you may ask, producing 10,000 vehicles annually will create great carbon output, albeit it being EVs. Well, the facility employs natural gas burners in manufacturing, therefore lowering reliance on polluting fossil fuels. And Wuling is also determined in engaging in continuous tree planting activities to reduce emissions, where an example, in 2016's, Wuling has implemented 10,000 trees to Indonesia program in collaboration with the municipality of Bekasi. And the third discussion I will be explaining is successful carbon reduction and renewable energy investments. Wuling focuses on investing in the development of core components for new energy vehicles like axles, hybrid power systems, and methanol engines, where it has improved vehicle efficiency and reducing carbon emissions. And as well, in 2019, Wuling has invested approximately 21 million yuan in environmental protection measures, including infrastructure upgrades, energy efficient technologies, and waste management system. And additionally, Wuling has also introduced automated and intelligent manufacturing processes, where that promoted clean production and effectively reduced emissions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jovan, for very insightful discussion. Now let's hear from the Minister of Coordination of Economic Affairs view regarding the regulation and policies related to EV in Indonesia. Please, Mr. Dimas.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Tiara. First of all, my name is Dimas Aliansyah. I'm the Minister of the Coordination of Economic Affairs of Indonesia. First, I'm going to explain to you what is the government's vision and mission regarding this issue. Slide, please. The government's vision is to reach 10% gross domestic product growth by the end of the current term, and also aiming to upgrade its current status as a farming state into an industrial state by the end of the current term, and also aim to increase revenue to 30% by the end of the current term, and also aiming to increase the number of foreign direct investment into Indonesia. And lastly, we aim to prevent climate change from ever happening in Indonesia. Next slide, please. The problem that Indonesia receiving nowadays is that there is inequality in the number of taxes. In Indonesia, the amount of tax paid by the corporations are varied. This results in inequality of the economic growth of all regions. One of the causes is that causes some regions to have a higher tax of compliance among businesses and individuals compared to others. This affects the revenue of local governments that can collect and subsequently invest in infrastructure, education, healthcare, and other development projects. That's why the Indonesian government aims to end that and centralize the decision-making process in determining the amount of tax paid by the corporation. And secondly, Indonesian government also aims to have more control over the private corporation operating in the country, because we are aiming to change from laissez-faire into neo-corporatism in the political economy. This is because we in the government believe that since this kind of political economy ideology has been conducted by Germany during the Nazi regime, and the result speaks for itself, which managed to get Germany out of the economic depression in 1929. And the Indonesian government also aiming to push harsh measures for all corporations who don't respect the climate change regulation. Since Indonesia is a country that has the highest chance of getting the climate change, because Indonesia has a fast coastline and numerous low-lying islands, and which makes it particularly vulnerable to sea level rise. That's why Indonesian government takes climate change very seriously. And lastly, the Indonesian government is setting the regulation for all corporations to protect local workers, because we Indonesian government believe that local workers must be prioritized first before foreign workers. And if you're asking what is the correlation with the electronic vehicle, is that the electronic vehicle is part of the Indonesian government plan to increase economic growth while also saving the environment. Since EV is useful, since its demand is high, the Indonesian government goal is to set a goal for all businesses and companies to work harder so that by the end of the current term, our goal of reaching an industrial state status can be achieved. EV is just one of the tools of our strategy to achieve that. By allowing EV to operate in Indonesia, hopefully Indonesia will turn into an industrial state by the end of the current term and also manage to prevent the climate change. That's all from what I can say. Next, then I can give it to the next person.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dimas, for such a great statement from government side. Okay, next we will listen from an expert to professionally analyze regarding the discussion that have been taking place. Please, Mr. Reza.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here. As an expert in electric vehicle technologies and sustainable transportation, I am here to provide insights into the latest advancements in EV technology and best practices for integrating electric vehicles into our transportation systems. Next slide, please. So some of the key points include current state of EV technology. Electric vehicles have seen significant advancements over the past decade. Today's EV are more efficient, have longer ranges, and are more affordable than ever before. Major technological improvements include enhanced battery technologies such as solid-state batteries, which offer higher energy densities and faster charging times. Second, infrastructure development. A crucial aspect of EV integration is the development of charging stations powered by solar, wind, or hydroelectric power to reduce the carbon footprints of EVs significantly. The public and private sectors need to collaborate to establish a widespread network of fast charging stations. This not only encourages EV adoption, but also supports the practical use of electric vehicles for long-distance travel. Third, renewable energy integration. To maximize the environmental benefits of EV, it's essential to integrate them with renewable energy sources. Smart grid technologies can optimize the charging process, ensuring the EVs are charged during periods of low demand or when renewable energy production is high. Policy and incentives. Government policies play a pivotal role in promoting EV adoption. Incentives such as tax rebates, subsidies for EV purchases, and investments in the research and development can accelerate the transition to electric mobility. Additionally, setting ambitious emissions reduction targets can drive the industry toward cleaner transportation solutions. And challenge and solutions. Despite the progress, there are challenges to overcome. This include the initial high cost of EVs, limited range anxiety, and the need for comprehensive recycling programs for EV batteries. Solutions involve continued innovation to lower costs, development of ultra-fast charging technologies, and robust recycling initiatives to manage battery end-of-life processes. Next slide, please. So the electric car sales neared 14 million in 2023, 95% of which were in China, Europe, and the United States. Almost 14 million new electric cars were registered globally in 2023, bringing their total number on the roads to 40 million, closely tracking the sales forecast from the 2023 edition of the Global EV Outlook. These trends indicate that growth remains robust as electric car markets mature. Battery electric cars accounted for 70% of electric car stock in 2023. Next slide, please. Electric car break sales record with momentum expected to continue through 2024. The share of electric cars in total sales has increased from around 4% in 2020 to 18% in 2023. EV sales are expected to continually strongly through 2024. Over 3 million electric cars were sold in the first quarter, about 25% more than in the same period last year. Based on current policies and trends, the rollout of electric vehicles is set to avoid the need for nearly 6 million barrels of oils a day by 2023. Next slide, please. The pace of the transition to electric vehicles hinges on their affordability. Electric cars are getting cheaper as competition intensifies, particularly in China, but they remain more expensive than cars with internal combustion engines in other markets. When exactly price parity is reached is subject to a range of market variables, but current trends suggest that it could be reached by 2030 in major EV markets outside China for most models. Next slide, please. Three major markets dominated global EV sales in 2023. Electric vehicles are the key technology to decarbonize road transport, a sector that accounts for over 15% of global energy-related emissions. In 2023, the three markets dominated global sales. China was the front runner, once again accounting for around 60% of global electric car sales. And in Europe, electric car sales increased almost 20% in 2023, reaching a sales over 20%. Okay, next slide, please. Now we are going to talk about the negotiations process and the solutions. We have copy-pasted our solutions from each side. Now we will do the voting. So we will be representing our respective role, which will be commenced by Tiara, if you please. Thank you.
Okay. The first one, me as Greenpeace Indonesia representative has proposed three solutions. The first one is Greenpeace suggests a gradual approach to tightening emission restriction with clear milestones and deadlines that allow businesses to adjust while ensuring progressive pollution reduction. The second one is tiered incentive programs based on income levels are also required to enable access for all socioeconomic groups, which will increase EV adoption while lowering urban air pollution and greenhouse gas emissions. The last one is the formation of a national task force to oversee the development of EV charging station in both urban and rural areas will make EV charging more accessible, encouraging the more people to switch to electric vehicle. That's all from me.
Okay, anyone in favor of this of the solution?
We're in favor for all of the solutions.
Okay, thank
I think I
you.
do. I think I do.
Okay, that's great. Let's carry on.
Okay, so the next set of solutions I will explain. So after listening to all of your ideas and opinions, I think they're very nice, but here are the solutions that I will come up with. That is, the first one is collaborative EV infrastructure and ecosystem development. So the first one is that government can invest more in their state-owned bodies to collaborate with Wuling to develop a broader and more accessible EV facilities and infrastructure, where the action in supporting and the assembly of home charging solutions could also be facilitated to enhance mobility to attract more people. And Wuling and Greenpeace can collaborate to establish public education programs and campaigns regarding EV, sustainability, and green awareness, where the collaboration can involve practical activities. And the second solution is, from me, is investing in more manufacturing facilities and factories. The government can invest more in establishing EV manufacturing facilities and factories all across Indonesia, especially in resource-rich areas to skyrocket the development and production of electric vehicle axles, hybrid power systems, and methanol engines, where such action can push EV productions greatly. And yeah, perhaps it will be possible as well that Indonesia might be the powerhouse in Southeast Asia in wooling EV production, well, maybe producing over hundreds of thousands annually if the government invests in, in such matters. And third, the third solution for me is sustainable practices and environmental investments. The government could also legally implement more policies and laws regarding the empowerment of investment in energy saving technologies and green supply chain practices, so that the future outlook in the development of energy saving technologies and green supply chain practices might possess a huge percentage and playing game in Indonesia's manufacture, product and services, and etc., not only for EV. And Wuling, the government, and Greenpeace could collaborate by planting, trees, so that it will reduce carbon emissions, or maybe create mutual collaboration by supporting and helping each other with each other's advanced filtration and wastewater treatment systems in needed instances and facilities. Yeah, so that's all the solutions from me.
Those are very great solutions. I'm in favor.
Yeah, anybody else in favor?
Yes, we preferable.
Okay, let's get on to the third party.
Okay, so let's just scroll down to the mission part. Basically, the Indonesian government's first solution is to increase the amount of tax that must be paid by the corporation. Like I said before, in Indonesia, the amount of tax paid by the corporation are varied. They result in inequalities of the economic growth of all regions. One of the causes that is that it causes some regions to have a higher rate of tax compliance among businesses and individuals compared to others, which affect the revenue that the government can collect and consequently impact infrastructure, education, healthcare, and other development projects. That's why the Indonesian government aims to end that and centralize the decision-making process in determining the amount of tax by the corporation. And second solution is that the government also aims to have more control of the private corporation operating in this country. Like I've said before, Indonesia is trying to turn from laissez-faire political economy ideology into fully neo-corporatism. Because we believe that Germany had managed to done that under the Nazi regime, so we thought that Indonesia could be like that. And the third solution is that the Indonesian government is aiming to put harsh measures for all corporations who don't respect the climate change regulation. Since Indonesia is a country that has a high chance of getting the climate change, Indonesia has a vast coastline, numerous low-lying islands, making it particularly vulnerable to severe sea level rises, coastal erosion, saltwater intrusion, and flooding. So that's why Indonesia takes climate change seriously. So everything what is the correlation with the electric vehicle is that we are taking electric vehicle very seriously and aiming to open electronic vehicle to come into Indonesia. And lastly, the Indonesian government is setting the regulation for corporation to prioritize local workers, since Indonesia is more concerned with our local workers first before other workers first, so that we can increase the quality of human resource Indonesia has. So all of this is to support the electronic vehicles businesses in Indonesia. Basically, we Indonesian government want to accept electronic vehicles in Indonesia as long as we can get a lot of our share of profit from it and control. That's all from us. Anybody in favor?
I'm in favor.
I'm in favor for all
Great
of them.
Yes, I'm in
solutions.
favor.
Okay, we are now going to read out my solutions in the expert part. So my first solution is to kickstart the heavy-duty market. Electric buses and trucks are actually becoming competitive on a total cost of ownership basis across an increasing number of applications. Policy-led deployment can help kickstart the sector. ZEV sales mandates, purchase incentives, and CO2 standards can help speed up the transition. Second one is to promote adaptation in emerging and developing economies. Electrification of road transport in emerging and developing economies should prioritize 2 or 3-wheelers and urban buses, as these vehicles types are the most competitive. Price signals and charging infrastructure availability can also help the economic case for electrification. In emerging EV markets, efforts should be made to establish and tighten fuel economy and emission standards and to facilitate electric grid deployment. The third one is to expand EV infrastructure and smart grids. Governments should continue to support the development of publicly available charging infrastructure, at least until there are enough EVs on the road for an operator to sustain a charging network. Continued government support, either through regulations requiring the building out of charging stations or through fiscal policies and support, should ensure equitable access to charging for all communities to ensure that no one is left behind in the transition. And the fourth one is to ensure secure, resilient, and sustainable EV supply chains. Electrifying road transport requires a wide range of raw material inputs. While all stages of the supply chain must scale up, extraction and processing are particularly critical due to long head times. Governments must leverage private investment into sustainable mining of critical battery metals and ensure clear and rapid permitting procedures to avoid potential supply bottlenecks. Innovation and alternative chemistries that require smaller amounts of critical minerals, as well as extensive battery recycling, can ease demand pressure and avoid bottlenecks. Incentivizing battery right sizing and the adoption of smaller cars can also decrease demand for critical metals. Governments should ensure the traceability of key EV components and monitor the progress of ambitious environmental and social development goals at every stage of battery and EV supply chain in the whole scenario of its implementation. So that's it from me.
Anyone in favor?
Yes,
Yes,
we
I'm
are
in
in
favor.
favor.
Yes, I'm in favor.
Okay, so let us wrap up this presentation. That's all from us. And I think this truly has been a fruitful discussion, managing and navigating these roles. And I hope you enjoyed that, Prof, because we did do a lot of research on this. So that's a thank you from our group, and stay electric. Bye, Prof.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Prof.
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 Okay, stop recording.